I am not here to serve myself, I am here to serve my people. Every decision I make is for Burkina Faso, not for power or profit.
Welcome to AfriGlobal 24, your trusted source for breaking news, deep insights, and stories shaping Africa and the world. Stay informed, stay connected, and experience the news that matters. Right here, 24/7. In the heart of West Africa, where the golden sands meet the endless Sahel, a quiet revolution is unfolding. Not through weapons or war, but through development, dignity, and determination. Burkina Faso, once dismissed as one of the poorest nations in the world, is now the stage for an economic transformation that few could have imagined. At the center of this movement stands a man, Captain Ibrahim Traoré, whose leadership has ignited a wave of ambition and self-reliance across the region. This is the story of a bold vision, a $200 billion national revival plan that promises to rebuild the nation's foundations, from modern hospitals and industrial factories to schools, roads, and renewable energy plants. A project not funded by Western aid or IMF loans, but by the will of the people, the country's natural wealth, and a new sense of pride in African sovereignty. For decades, Burkina Faso was trapped in a cycle of dependency. Foreign aid-dictated policy, debt-limited growth, and the nation's vast mineral wealth, gold, manganese, and zinc, flowed outward, enriching others while leaving its own people behind. But now, under Captain Traoré's leadership, that story is being rewritten. In 2025, his administration unveiled the National Reconstruction and Industrial Development Plan, a massive, multi-sector initiative valued at over $200 billion, aimed at building a new Burkina Faso from the ground up. At first, the world dismissed it. Analysts called it too ambitious. Critics said it was unrealistic. But inside Burkina Faso, the message was clear: we will not wait for handouts. We will build our future ourselves. Across the nation, cranes rise where ruins once stood. Hospitals once struggling for equipment are being rebuilt with local materials and staffed by young Burkinabe doctors trained in new medical institutes. In the industrial zones near Bobo Dioulasso and Ouagadougou, new factories hum with energy, producing textiles, cement, agricultural machinery, and fertilizers once imported from abroad. In the countryside, the transformation feels almost spiritual. Irrigation projects and solar-powered mills are helping farmers process their own harvests, adding value before export, creating jobs, and keeping wealth within the community. For the first time in generations, the people of Burkina Faso are seeing a government that talks about production, not dependency, about sovereignty, not submission. The $200 billion initiative isn't just about infrastructure, it's about identity. It's about giving every Burkinabe child a reason to believe that their nation can stand tall on its own terms. In the capital, new hospitals rise beside medical schools, part of a massive healthcare reform designed to make medical treatment accessible and affordable to every citizen. Each hospital is equipped with modern facilities powered by local solar grids, reducing costs and ensuring reliability even in remote areas. In parallel, the government has launched industrial parks focused on manufacturing essential goods, from pharmaceuticals to agricultural tools, aiming to replace imports that drain national reserves. Every product made in Burkina Faso carries a message: we can build, we can produce, we can sustain ourselves. Economists describe the project as Africa's most daring post-colonial economic experiment, one that defies traditional models of development. Instead of taking IMF loans or depending on donor conferences, Traoré's government is leveraging state-owned enterprises, natural resource revenues, and regional partnerships through the Alliance of Sahel States, AES. Gold revenues once leaving the country are now being redirected into a national investment fund. Partnerships with neighboring Mali and Niger are opening joint projects in energy, defense manufacturing, and agriculture, strengthening regional independence. And for the first time, Burkina Faso is setting up an African Development Consortium, an initiative that invites African nations and investors to fund African projects without Western intermediaries. But the path has not been easy. With the West watching closely, sanctions, trade pressures, and diplomatic isolation have tested Traoré's resolve. Yet, despite these challenges, progress continues. The new industrial city near Kédougou, planned to house over 50,000 workers, is already operational. A 1,000-megawatt solar grid is under construction to power factories and rural clinics. And thousands of young Burkinabe engineers, doctors, and technicians are returning from abroad, choosing to serve their country in this moment of transformation. In speeches across the nation, Captain Traoré emphasizes a simple but powerful idea. Development is not a gift. It is a right earned through unity, discipline, and sacrifice. His words echo across West Africa, where other nations, from Mali to Guinea to Niger, are following a similar path, reclaiming control over resources, strengthening local industries, and rejecting economic dependency on the West. Observers now call it the Sahel Renaissance, a new era of African-led development fueled by courage and cooperation rather than loans and lectures. And while critics in foreign capitals express doubt, the results are already visible on the ground. In villages once forgotten by time, children now attend schools powered by solar lights. In towns once marked by poverty, local cooperatives run their own food processing plants. And in the bustling markets of Ouagadougou, pride has replaced despair, the pride of a people witnessing history unfold in their lifetime. Yet the $200 billion project is about more than economics. It's a statement, a declaration that Africa can rise on its own terms, using its own wealth for its own people. Burkina Faso, long seen as a symbol of struggle, is now becoming a symbol of self-reliance. As Captain Traoré often reminds his citizens, we have gold, we have land, we have people, and that is enough. The world is watching, some with skepticism, others with admiration. Can Burkina Faso truly achieve industrial independence without Western financing? Can this ambitious project survive global economic pressures and internal challenges? And if it succeeds, what does it mean for the future of Africa's relationship with the rest of the world? For now, one thing is certain, a new chapter has begun. In a country that once struggled for survival, hope has become a national policy. Hospitals heal the sick, factories employ the young, and in every corner of the nation, from the red earth of the north to the green plains of the west, the spirit of self-determination burns brighter than ever. Burkina Faso, the land of honest men, is no longer waiting for the world to save it. It is building its own future, brick by brick, powered by its people and led by a man who dares to believe in the impossible. This is not just an economic plan. It is a revolution in the making. A $200 billion promise, not to the markets, but to the people. And if it succeeds, it could redefine not only Burkina Faso, but the destiny of an entire continent. In the heart of West Africa, a new story is being written, a story of rebirth, resilience, and national pride. This is Burkina Faso, a land long known for its courage, endurance, and struggle against hardship. Today, under the leadership of Captain Ibrahim Traoré, the nation is embarking on one of the most ambitious development plans in African history, a $200 billion project that promises not just infrastructure, but transformation. Hospitals, factories, schools, and entire industries are rising from the red earth, symbols of a people reclaiming their destiny. For decades, Burkina Faso stood as one of the poorest nations in the world, a landlocked country without access to the sea, dependent on foreign aid and international loans. Its vast mineral resources, gold, manganese, zinc, often flowed outward, enriching others while its people remained in poverty. Western institutions dictated budgets. International agencies dictated priorities. But under the new leadership, that model has been rejected. Captain Ibrahim Traoré, one of Africa's youngest leaders, has ushered in a bold new era, one defined by self-reliance, regional cooperation, and national sovereignty. He has declared that Burkina Faso's wealth must serve its people first, not foreign powers, not external creditors. And at the center of this vision is a monumental initiative known as the National Reconstruction and Industrial Development Plan, a multi-decade strategy designed to rebuild the entire nation from the ground up. This plan is valued at over $200 billion, an amount greater than Burkina Faso's entire annual GDP many times over. It sounds impossible, but the government says it's not about immediate expenditure. It's about national mobilization, production, and investment. The plan is divided into three main pillars: healthcare, industrialization, and human development. Each sector is being built not by foreign contractors, but by local engineers, workers, and entrepreneurs. This is development by Burkinabe hands, using Burkinabe resources. The healthcare initiative is perhaps the most symbolic. Across the nation, new regional hospitals are under construction, modern facilities equipped with advanced diagnostic centers, surgical theaters, and renewable energy systems. In the capital, Ouagadougou, a flagship medical complex will soon be completed, the largest in the Sahel region. It will train hundreds of doctors and nurses every year, supported by a network of rural clinics designed to bring healthcare to even the most remote villages. For generations, Burkinabe citizens traveled abroad for medical treatment. That era, Traoré says, must end. Healthcare, he insists, is a right, not a privilege for the few who can afford to leave. But healthcare is only one part of the vision. To fund such ambitions sustainably, the government is focusing on industrialization. In the western city of Bobo Dioulasso, a massive industrial park is taking shape. Factories here will process raw cotton, gold, and agricultural produce that were once exported without value addition. Burkina Faso currently produces one of Africa's largest cotton yields, yet exports most of it raw. Under the new policy, that cotton will be processed into textiles domestically, creating thousands of jobs and transforming Burkina Faso into a regional hub for fabric and garment production. The same strategy is being applied to the mining sector. Instead of shipping unprocessed minerals abroad, the government is establishing local refineries and smelters, ensuring that Burkina Faso captures more value from its own resources. Captain Traoré's leadership style is hands-on and deeply nationalistic. He speaks to soldiers and civilians alike about dignity, discipline, and production. In one speech, he said, "We will not live forever in dependency. The Burkinabe people have enough strength, enough intelligence, and enough courage to build their own future." Those words have become a rallying cry. Under his leadership, national service programs have been expanded, encouraging youth participation in rebuilding the country, from road construction to agricultural projects. Young engineers are returning from abroad to contribute to a movement that feels historic in scope. In agriculture, new irrigation systems are transforming semi-arid regions into productive farmland. Solar-powered water pumps are being distributed to farming cooperatives, allowing them to cultivate year-round instead of relying on short rainy seasons. The government's agricultural plan aims to make Burkina Faso fully self-sufficient in food production within a decade. What makes this effort particularly striking is that it is not financed through IMF or World Bank loans. Instead, it relies on state-owned enterprises, resource-backed funds, and regional partnerships through the Alliance of Sahel States, a new economic and defense bloc that includes Mali and Niger. Together, these nations are attempting something unprecedented, a self-financed model of African development. They are pooling resources, sharing industrial expertise, and creating cross-border projects, from railways to energy grids. The idea is simple but revolutionary. If Africa cooperates internally, it can reduce dependency externally. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Niger are now working on a joint energy project, a hydrosolar grid system designed to stabilize electricity supply across the region. The goal is to ensure that the power fueling new hospitals and factories does not rely on foreign-owned systems. The focus on renewable energy is key. With abundant sunlight across the Sahel, solar power is becoming the backbone of Burkina Faso's industrialization plan. Dozens of solar farms are under construction, providing clean, affordable power for industries and households alike. It is part of Traoré's vision to ensure that every aspect of the $200 billion project serves both present needs and future generations. But perhaps the most powerful part of this story is the people. Everywhere across Burkina Faso, there is a renewed sense of purpose, a belief that national progress is possible without dependency. Nurses speak proudly of working in new facilities built from local materials. Textile workers operate modern looms that turn homegrown cotton into finished fabrics. Teachers instruct students using solar-powered tablets produced by local startups. Each of these stories is small on its own. Together, they form the backbone of a movement, a grassroots revolution that places ordinary citizens at the heart of national development. Captain Traoré frequently reminds citizens that this transformation will take years, maybe decades. But, he says, it is a permanent path forward, one that builds independence not through isolation, but through ownership. His critics, both at home and abroad, argue that such a massive plan risks overextension. Without external funding, they say, it will be difficult to maintain long-term growth. Western commentators often label Traoré's model as populist nationalism. Yet inside the country, support remains strong. For many Burkinabe, it's not about ideology, it's about dignity. The belief that their nation can create its own path, even if it means slower progress. Analysts describe Traoré's approach as part of a broader shift across West Africa, a new generation of leaders challenging old structures of global power. It reflects a desire to redefine Africa's place in the world economy, not as a source of raw materials, but as a center of manufacturing, technology, and innovation. In Burkina Faso, this transformation is already visible in education. Vocational training centers are being expanded to teach engineering, logistics, and industrial maintenance. Universities are receiving new funding for research in renewable energy and agritech. By investing in human capital, the government hopes to ensure that the $200 billion project is not just about buildings, but about brains. The youth are central to this movement. Nearly 70% of Burkina Faso's population is under 30. They represent both the challenge and the potential of the country's future. Through community cooperatives and national service, thousands of young people are participating directly in rebuilding efforts, repairing roads, planting trees, and assisting in construction. Their sense of ownership is what keeps the momentum alive. One young volunteer summarized it best. Before, we waited for help from outside. Now we help ourselves. That is the new Burkina Faso. Throughout the country, dozens of megaprojects are underway. The Ouagadougou Industrial Corridor, linking production zones to export routes. The National Hospital Network, connecting rural areas through telemedicine. The Sahel Agricultural Belt, a network of irrigation projects spanning 5 regions. Each initiative ties into the larger goal, to create a self-sustaining economy capable of funding its own social programs. In many ways, Burkina Faso has become a symbol, not just of resistance, but of reinvention. For decades, the country was defined by hardship and instability. Now, it is becoming defined by innovation and self-belief. It's a long journey, and challenges remain: security threats, limited infrastructure, and global economic headwinds. But for the Burkinabe people, the path is clear. They are not walking backward. They are building forward. Some call it a continuation of the vision once dreamed by Thomas Sankara, the revolutionary leader of the 1980s who first championed self-reliance and national pride. Sankara's legacy echoes in Traoré's policies, the belief that Africa can feed, clothe, and heal itself through unity and production. Where Sankara's revolution was interrupted, Traoré's is being continued, through construction, not confrontation. Across Burkina Faso, cranes still move. Roads still stretch. Children study by solar lamps. Farmers harvest with new machines. And in every corner of the country, one phrase is repeated: we are building our future. Burkina Faso's $200 billion project is not just a plan, it's a statement. A declaration that the continent can rise on its own terms, without waiting for permission. As the dust settles on each new foundation, the message becomes clearer. This is what sovereignty looks like in the 21st century. Not isolation, but independence. Not protest, but production. From hospitals that heal the sick, to factories that create opportunity, to fields that feed the hungry, the spirit of Burkina Faso is rising once more. This is not a story of aid or charity. It is a story of courage, leadership, and collective hope. And perhaps, in years to come, historians will look back and say, this was the moment when a small West African nation taught the world that development begins not with wealth, but with will. Traoré's $200 billion project, hospitals, factories, and hope for the people, a new chapter in Africa's story. You've been watching Afro Global 24, your window into Africa and the world. If you found this video informative, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to stay updated on the latest stories shaping our continent and beyond. Hit the notification bell so you never miss a report, and join the conversation in the comments below. Until next time, this is Afro Global 24, bringing Africa closer to the globe, 24 hours a day.